Hello everyone, and just before I dive into this next History with Hilbert video, I just want to let you know about something very special that's going to be happening on the channel over these next few days. Now, it is the run-up to Christmas. Merry Christmas everyone, I hope you're having a good Christmassy festive season so far, and in keeping with the time, I've decided that over the next few days I'm going to be having History with Hilbert's Christmas gifts. So, from today up until Christmas Day, I'm going to be uploading a video daily. So I just thought I'd let you know that you need to be checking your subscription boxes every day for my Christmas gifts. I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you'll be tuning in again up until Christmas Day, every day, for new History with Hilbert. Enjoy the video, guys. Hello everyone, welcome back. History with Hilbert here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the religion followed by the Anglo-Saxons and the religion followed by the Vikings, who we now call the Vikings, the Norse, the people from Scandinavia during the Viking Age, and how similar these religions were, or how different they were, and if we could call them the same religion, and what some of the differences between these different belief sets would have been. Now, the most striking one, and the one I think most people can think of off the top of their head, would be the different names given to the different gods in the traditions. Now, along the bottom here, I've put the Old Norse, so the Viking names for the different gods, and along the top I've put the Old English ones. So you have Odin, Thor, Tyr, and then in Old English, Wotan, Thunor, and Ty. And as you can see, they are quite similar as well. For example, Thor and Thunor, Tyr and Ty, and Woden and Odin. They're very similar, and that's probably because they came from the same Proto-Germanic root name, because Old Norse and Old English essentially come back to the same language called Proto-Germanic, and that's why there are these similarities between them, although obviously the ones along the bottom are in the Old Norse language and the ones along the top are in the Old English language. Now, apart from that, these gods would have played pretty much exactly the same role when they were being worshipped by the Anglo-Saxons and by the Norse. Some gods would have had slightly different roles. Some were more important to the Anglo-Saxons and some were more important to the Old Norse, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later on in this video as well. And as well as this, there are also some gods which would have been worshipped more in one tradition and less in the other, but they pretty much shared the same core pantheon of gods. Now, we're going to have a look at the timeline of the two religions, because this is quite important when we're looking at these two sets of beliefs, is understanding how they were once the same, how they became different, and then what these differences would have been. So here we see that all the way through the Roman period, and probably before the Romans actually came through into Northern Europe, that we have Germanic paganism, which is where these two belief sets would have come from. And the Germanic pagans would have followed a largely similar sort of belief. This is all the way through Northern Europe. It's slightly different to Celtic paganism, which would have had different gods who had different roles, but they are also similar to one another. The only difference is being from region to region. So you might have, in the Baltic states, you might have a god who is being worshipped, which is a local god, which obviously wouldn't be worshipped in Denmark, because you don't have the same local areas of worship as the other one does. And then in around 450 AD is usually the date that's set for the Anglo-Saxon invasion of England, and the Anglo-Saxons would have worshipped these Germanic gods from Germanic paganism. So at the time that they moved, obviously, they would have had the same belief set as their cousins in Europe, because they were moving from Europe. At this point, we see the Anglo-Saxon paganism starting to evolve in England, and this is obviously paganism that is specific to the Anglo-Saxons, and they start to develop some local deities as well, because obviously if you're moving into a new country, you will get maybe a sacred grove somewhere, and then you'll dedicate that to one of the gods. And some of these gods might then be based off the previous inhabitants. If they said there was a wood god living over there, then they might take that and bring it into their own pantheon, because this happens quite a lot in these older religions. But obviously, at the same time, we get the Germanic pagans in Europe and the Norse pagans as well, crucially in Scandinavia, who are still worshipping the Germanic paganism. And This obviously becomes different to the Anglo-Saxon paganism over time, over the course of these few hundred years, because the religion is still evolving, it's still developing, and then these two start to develop differently. Anglo-Saxon paganism's development is cut short because the Anglo-Saxons are converted sometime in the 7th century. However, in Europe and in Scandinavia as well, the conversion date is much later, so their religions keep evolving when the Anglo-Saxon one has been killed off by the advent of Christianity. Now we're going to have a look at some of the different gods worshipped from region to region. So first of all we have the goddess Eostre. And Eostre is in fact a fertility goddess who was worshipped by the Anglo-Saxons in England, and we believe that the modern name Easter and the festival of Easter is actually has actually been stolen from her name, really, that she was worshipped at this time of the year just before the harvests would come in, because she is obviously the fertility goddess, and her symbol was in fact the rabbit, so the Easter bunny is really Eostre's bunny. Next up we have Nehalenia, and on the continent she was a sea goddess who was worshipped in the Low Countries by the Frisi at the twin temples of Domburg, which is a settlement now in the Netherlands. And she would have had a temple on each side of the river where they would give a sacrifice to this goddess so that they might be protected while they were away trading over the ocean. And finally we have the patron god, if I may call him that, of the Saxons, who was called Saxnot. And as you can see, we have the same root for Saxon in front of his name as well. And we know about this guy because the kings of Essex claimed descent from this god. Okay, so this has been my video on the religions, the belief set and religion of the Anglo-Saxons and the Norse, and how they became different and how they were similar. Please let me know if you have enjoyed this video, if you'd like to know more about this, if you have any questions, please do post them in the comment section below, and if you have more information on this, I'd love to know. I'm always open to learning new things, and you guys teach me a lot of new things that I didn't know before making this video, which, you know, just broadens my knowledge as much as I hope I'm broadening yours by making these videos. So please do leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and become one of us so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. Alright everyone, thanks very much for watching. This has been History with Hilbert with another video. See you all soon.